गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे Chapter 2, the fourth section, and here the call for the inner vision leading to the recognition of and attainment of unity. The first verse goes, Paranchikhani vithrunat swayambhuh tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman kaschid dhira pratyaghatmanamaikshat avritachakshuramarutattvamichan. It says, the self-existent Brahma created the senses with outgoing tendencies, therefore man beholds the external universe and not the internal self Atman. But only some wise man, desirous of immortality, with eyes averted, turning within, with his senses turned away from sensual objects, sees the Atman within. So what is this? Here the disease is given and the medicine will also be given. The disease is that we find that our senses naturally go outwards. That is how the Creator has made them. Just now I was there in the room, I read this, and then I don't know, I was just feeling, just felt like closing my eyes. So I laid down on the bed, and immediately the eyes closed, gone, and suddenly I woke up with a jerk. Oi, it's 11:15. Okay. Nah. Here, when we are tired, when we are exhausted, when we are sleepy, when we are meditating, that time the senses go inwards. But naturally, they are always moving into the sense objects and the sensory world. But what is the way of the masters? What do? They have controlled their senses and made them introverted. And here it is, the Adi Shankaracharya says, the Lord pierced the senses, meaning the Lord cursed the senses that go, you move away from me. So they are continuously moving outwards. And that is but it is not that Lord can curse anyone. It is not so. Don't misunderstand that. Here it says that to those who are practicing the higher yoga of meditation, that is a yogi, that is a contemplator, seeker, for them the sense organs are a curse. Why have we come here? Why couldn't we do this same retreat in the middle of the city? Why couldn't we do it in the casino? Why couldn't we do the same retreat in a discotheque? Because we want to be not distracted by sense objects, isn't it? So if you are a meditator, if you are a seeker, then we must, for such a person, the sense organs are an impediment, because they don't easily turn back inwards by our choice. We have to exercise a lot of willpower, we have to exercise a lot of dispassion, we have to exercise a lot of single pointed attention. over something higher within us, which will bring about the withdrawal of the senses from the sensory world. Unless and until this urge from within is not there, unless this longing from inside is not there to know the ultimate, the intellect and mind are not continuously desiring that and longing that and thirsting for that. Till then these, if we may use the word, bloody senses, they will not go within. Like that small child in Sydney, I told her, you touch your heart and feel the beat, and see the Lord is there within you. And she put her hand, and I told her, close your eyes. With eyes open you cannot listen to the Lord inside. So she closed her eyes. She has never closed her eyes, except other in sleep. So she's... And then after some, because she doesn't know what to look for inside. But once she caught it, then her eyes became calm. Why? So used to looking outside. A child is very active, he's seeking, searching, curious. So it is told that unless a seeker does not feel an urge, does not feel a longing to know his own essential nature, till then it becomes a difficult task for the senses to turn within. And for such a person, as much as you may read, as much as you may listen to yoga, as much as you may do yoga, as much as you may do physical yoga, pranayama, etc., 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 all this, maybe great masters tell such a person, the teachers tell such a person, their parents tell such a person. You see, when a small child it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the parents say, now go to your room. He goes and checks. This fellow is playing in this room also. Into the bed, he goes into the bed. She again comes to check. He is reading a book. Yes. Book aside, lights off, and he puts the light off, but his eyes are open. He is looking at the stars that he has put on the ceiling, And in the end, Mummy, I can't sleep, I am not feeling sleepy. You have to. So how much prodding is required to withdraw the senses? Why? He is thinking one thing, that he might miss out on something. He wants to live the life fully, otherwise he will miss out. And we also don't want to worry, who knows if the self is there or not there. At least enjoy this life. That's a normal man's behavior. And somehow we have also taken that. But at the same time, we have come across the knowledge, the information that, or an urge within us that we want to know our essential nature. And until unless we do not use all our power, all our energies to seek that source within us, the divine spark within us, till then these senses will sabotage every effort that we make. Every effort that we make. So here in Kathopanishad, the word given Pratyag Atman and Antaratman. And Pratyag Atman, immediate. Antaratman, the innermost core. So when without control of the senses, without withdrawal of the senses, without having introverted the direction of the senses, reality is very difficult to be known for a common man, because senses delve in variety. And in this way, the teacher has told that the senses have a curse of moving outwards, but wise men have curbed their outward movement and made them introverted, not by taking the eyes, okay, now you look inside, but by putting their attention on the core of their own personality, as a result of which the senses become introverted. Now, in the second verse, Paracha kamana nuyanti balaha te mrityoryanti vidatasya pasham atha dhira amrutatvam viditva dhruvamadhruveshvihana prarthayante. The ignorant childlike pursue the external pleasures, and so they fall into the snares of the widespread death. But the wise do not desire anything in this world, having known what is eternally immortal in the midst of all non-eternals. We have forgotten our divine nature due to ignorance. And that ignorance in our life expresses as, here it is, Paracha kaman anuyanti balaha. Kaman, desires. That ignorance expresses as desires in the mind. That forgetfulness of our own essential nature. So there are two words, non-apprehension and misapprehension. Non-apprehension is ignorance, misapprehension is projection. Forgetfulness is ignorance, and the desire is equal to misapprehension, is equal to the eternal conditioned by the mind and expressing within the mind as desires. And those desires that appear in the mind, they make the body act and make it to pursue the desires and act in life. And this way, the knot of the heart that is talked about is the avidya kama karma. So, ignorance, desires and action. These become the knot of the heart. And where the action is the grossest expression, desire is a subtler expression, and ignorance is the cause. So, ignorance being the cause, desire and action are the effects. And what is ignorance? When did ignorance begin? Beginningless. It is beginningless. We have to break it. How do we break it? Become desireless. How do you become desireless? Control your senses, because the senses get attached to the objects of the world, then the desire comes. From individual point of view. So it is told that in these two mantras, the first and the second, the two great obstacles were told to us. The first was the sense organs, which continuously move outwards to the sensory fields and take all our energy with it when they go out. And the second in this verse is that the desire for the enjoyment of these objects, that also takes whatever energy is left, that also is utilized in satisfying that desire. And is it not childish that man knows that no object in the world here used is, the ignorant childlike pursue the external pleasures. Isn't it childish that even though we know no desire or no object of this world can ever satisfy us, yet we keep running after the objects of the world? See? So the scripture is telling here that the only thing that you can get by running after the objects of the world is pain, sorrow, dejection, broken heart, etc., etc., etc. Nothing else you can get. Why? Because objects of the world are finite. They do not have within their being or within them to give you, grant you, bless you with infinite happiness. It's just not there. Because it is a product of time, it is born and it dies. That which born and dies, which is finite, cannot give you infinite happiness. And that is what we are seeking essentially, infinite happiness. But it is wrongly directed. So we are using this body, mind, intellect equipment to satisfy the inner urge to be complete, to be happy, to be peaceful, to be tranquil. But out of ignorance, we are using this body, mind, intellect equipment to gain that permanent happiness from the world of objects, emotions and thoughts. From the world of, from the external world. The physical world, from the subtle world. And this is what we are going through all the time. So the scripture is saying, isn't it childish? Even though they have lived their whole life, nothing has ever satisfied them and yet they are going after it all the time. One movie after the other, one drink after the other, one wife after the other, one husband after the other, one car after the other, one country after the other. When will it stop? When will you stop? The only way a man can get satisfied, become peaceful, is by knowing the eternal. Atha dhira amritatvam viditva. But the wise do not desire anything in this world. Why do they not desire anything in this world? Because amritam viditva, having known what? Having known the truth. Dhruvam adhruveshvah na parardhayante. That immutable, unchanging reality, having known that eternally immortal reality in the midst of all changes. So what is changing all the time? The world is continuously changing. What else is changing all the time? Body is continuously changing. What else is changing? Breath is continuously changing. What is changing? Mind, the emotions are continuously changing. Ideas, concepts, everything is changing. So among all these changes, who is aware of all these changes? Who knows all these changes? For whom are these changes? For me. Just take it personally, each one of you. It is for you because you are alive. Therefore you can recognize the changes, isn't it? He who has, in spite of all the changes, recognized that these changes create disturbance for the individual. But these changes do not create a disturbance for the one who knows. Why? Changes are the same. The day will come, the night will come, the wars are still going on. Ramana Maharishi was asked, it was during the freedom struggle, that don't you feel that you have to, like Gandhiji is having a campaign of freedom, that country should become free? Don't you feel that you should do something for the country? Don't you feel that you have a responsibility towards the society? He says, yeah, I am also a freedom fighter. I make the souls free. When the souls are free, country will automatically be free. See how beautifully he has put it. So what is the soul? Conditioned consciousness is the soul, for whom all these disturbances become real. But once that conditioned consciousness, that limited consciousness, the ego consciousness rediscovers itself to be the eternal consciousness, all sorrows vanish. Here it says, for is no longer, Having known what is eternally mortal in the midst of all non-eternals, for such a person, then will that person ever run after the ephemeral? Will that person ever run after that which is perishing all the time, finite, unstable, changing? No. Why? He has got that which is unchanging. He has found that. And once found, there is no question of going back then. No. I want to go back to the changing. I want to change. Can't. So this is another verse, all these verses that are coming, another verse to assess what is your idea of a realization. Check. Are you feeling that this world is real? Then understand, you have not come to know. Are you feeling that you have has your vision towards the world changed completely? Are you still having some desires within? Understand, the self has not been recognized as it is. The only way this action, desire and ignorance, this knot of ignorance, the only way it can be undone is by knowledge, and that is the knowledge of the self. And in this way, only the ignorance will end, the desires will end, and therefore we see in our life that a realized master is happy in spite of anything. When Alexander the Great crossed the Iran and came into Pakistan, which was then India, after having conquering some lands, he had heard about the saints and sages of India. So he captured one naked fellow, maybe little bit cloth around his private parts, langot, and he put him in a cage, like a thing. And then next day he was brought in front of him, and he was sitting there. And then he sat. It was in the open field. So, what makes you great? Don't you think you should be prostrating in front of me? You should be bowing in front of me. Don't you know who I am? Alexander the Great. This man, totally humble, looking down, just looked up. He said, "Can you move a little bit on the side?" He says, "What do you mean move on the side?" "No, you are blocking the sunlight which is coming to me." If you understood, you understood. Alexander did not understand. Or he understood. We don't know. I was not there. They are the most simplest. Nothing to achieve. What makes this fellow happy? That was the quest of Alexander. Why this fellow is happy? He doesn't have clothes, he doesn't get food. I have put him in the cage. I have not given him anything. And he is happy. And when asked, "Can you move aside? Let the sun fall upon me." Okay. So in this, a person who has come to having known, the reason when they say having known, viditva, means once you have known, like the wise man, the essential nature that is your essential nature, then after that the ignorance, the desires, the world, the sense objects, everything that is changing, unstable, etc., 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 will not disturb you henceforth. And such a person, in spite of living in the midst of all changing phenomena, remains unchanging.
Can you still enjoy the things of the world? No. I don't want to.
But desire
The idea of enjoying the things in the world is only for the ego. Because ego thinks the world is other than it.
But if you
Listen. Because the ego thinks the world is other than it, therefore it has the idea I must enjoy the things of the world. But when the ego has recognized that it is the source, then what will it enjoy? When it wants to enjoy because it wants to become complete by enjoying. But when it is discovered that it is already complete, then will it have that idea of enjoyment? Then wherever the eyes look, wherever the tongue, whatever the tongue tastes, whatever the ears hear, it is full enjoyment like you have never known. Because realization is not a passive state, it is a positive state of solid enjoyment. But it is not laughter, it is not if you do that, the realized master may do that, but he will not forget the self. So the joy experienced, even when we saw the joy experienced in the heavens is thousands and thousands and thousand times more than what we experience here interacting with the joy or looking at a flower or stand in the sunshine, isn't it? So how much more powerful the joy must be of knowing the self? You can't even imagine. Mind is incapable of imagining. So either you have love for that bliss that the self is, and by knowing that, you recognizing that you are of the nature of bliss. You don't have to be a slave to the creation to please give me happiness, please give me joy. When I work hard and save money and buy a car, then I will have joy. That is pathetic. You yourself are the source of joy and bliss. But we have, out of ignorance, put that joy on the objects of the world, on the times of the world, on the places of the world, and say, when I get this, then I will be happy. But man, recognize, you are happy already, essentially. So when so here the picture is given that atha dhira amrutatvam viditva dhruvam dhruva eshvah na prarthayante. Adhruveshu dhruvam adhruveshu iha na prarthayante. Meaning, he does not pray for the objects of the worlds like that ignorant child. Now, yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan ete naiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate etadvaitata. So, now this is the answer. Remember, don't forget the story. The whole Upanishad is answering the question, what happens to the soul after death? And the other question was, what is that which is other than virtue and vice? What is that which is other than cause and effect? And what is that which is other than past and future? That was the question, wasn't it? So now the answer begins. Etad vaitata, this is that. Yeah? That Atman by which man cognizes form, taste, smell, sounds and the sexual joys. What is there unknowable to that Atman in this world? This is verily that. Isn't it true that eyes do not have any purpose for themselves? There is a seer behind the eyes to look at the scene. There is a hearer behind the ears to hear the sounds. There is a taster behind the tongue to taste the various things. There is a feeler behind the skin to feel the various objects. And there is a smeller behind the nose who takes in the various fragrances that is smelt. So, who is this seer, hearer, smeller, taster, feeler? So here the attention is being given, is being brought, that it is that same infinite self, the consciousness within you, which is expressing through the conditioning of the mind and expressing as the seer, expressing as the hearer, expressing as the taster, etc., and cognizing the various sense objects of the world. So here their attention is that Atman, that conscious principle within you is alone expressing and enjoying the tastes, the smell, the sound and the sexual choice. What is there unknowable? What do we know about the world? For us the whole world is nothing but these five senses, isn't it? Whatever is stimuli are coming through these five senses, that's our world. Do we know any other world? Yes, we know. That is the dream world. There also only five senses. There also we see, hear, touch, feel, taste. So whatever you are thinking, whatever you are ideating, whatever you are conceptualizing, whatever you are feeling, all that is about the objects of whatever these stimuli are bringing in, are coming in through the senses. For whom? It is for that intelligent principle, it is for that conscious principle, which is the invigorating factor within us. And in this manner, here it says I told that. And then what is that which is beyond dharma and adharma? What is that which is beyond cause and effect? What is that which is beyond past and future? And having answered this question, he says, this is that, etad vaitata. It's a final proclamation that this is that. This one who is behind all the senses, as the seer, as the hearer, etc., etc., that one itself is the reality. You are thinking it is the individual. No, it is the reality. Start accepting it and start thinking about that I am the total, I am not the individual. Until unless you don't become single pointed in thinking that I am the total, I have to be the total. What is the total? Till then the change will not come. Nobody is going to come and present to you that experience. You have to grow in your experience. That life center within you, that divine spark within you, that Atman within you, that knower within you, that is the answer. That is that which is beyond virtue and vice, that is beyond which is cause and effect, that is beyond time and past and future. And this way the Lord is answering directly to the question of Nachiketa. When he says that this is verily that, what does this mean? This and that, our Sanskrit language, etad vaitat, etad tata. So etad tat means that, etad means this. What is the difference between this and that? Very interesting. In our English language, anything that is close to us is, this is closer to me than that, isn't it? The glass, this glass is closer to me than that Teresa or that camera. Then this book is closer to me than that glass. Then this cloth is closer to me than that book. See how it's changing. Then this breath is closer to me than this body. Then this mind is closer to me than that breath. Then this intellect is closer to me than that mind. Then this total mind is closer to me than that individual intellect or individual mind. And this self is closer to me than everything else put together. So this that you are, that which is closest to you, what is closer to you, find out. And that itself, that consciousness, you know you are conscious right now. So this consciousness that you know you are is that reality. It is not, this is me and this is the consciousness. It is not separate. This is the consciousness that I am looking at and this is the consciousness is the same. So recognize that you, the conscious person, are essentially the divine person. And that idea is given here. And with this, the meaning of individual self is the supreme self. Don't consider yourself to be a teeny weeny, self-pitying ego whom nobody loves and nobody cares and nobody gives attention and huh? No.
Atman is the pure intelligence which makes us conscious. I don't understand the sort of duality that seems to present to me. Who's the us? The pure intelligence is sort of...
What do you consider? Do you consider yourself to be pure intelligence or do you consider to be the body who is living in this world with your mind?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Do you consider yourself to be the pure consciousness or do you consider at present to be the body with confusions of the intellect and having this question? You are considering yourself to be...
I can't separate them. To me when they say this and
No.
there's an us and whatever, it seems sort of contradictory.
It's just a language. It's just a language. Language cannot reach the truth.
Well then there's the
But
self-intelligence, the us.
the us is the conditioned us that you have considered yourself to be. The conditioned person. So who is talking? Is it joy or is it eternity?
Joy.
So joy is the conditioned consciousness. That joy who is considering herself to... But you know you are conscious, isn't it? You don't know that you are unconscious, you are conscious. So that consciousness whom you call joy is... what was the word that you said there?
Pure intelligence, which makes us conscious of our state.
So that conditioned consciousness is being made conscious by the supreme intelligence or the supreme consciousness. It's just a way of speaking. You are the mother also, you are the wife also. Are you the two? Where you put your attention? So now here we are trying to, question is asked, so we have to answer. And knowing, we have already gone through that the words cannot reach the truth. And yet words have to be used to explain it. So here he is trying to explain that what you consider yourself to be an individual, that ego, recognize that ego essentially is the infinite reality. Essentially. And why do you think that this infinite reality, that why I have become an individual then? Because you think, you have started thinking, you have started accepting Why? Out of ignorance. That I am only this body, that I am only this mind, I am only this intellect.
Now what's the total ego then? Total ego. I thought the ego just revolved around us conditioning, and you've been talking about the total ego, and I don't understand the total ego.
Total ego is God.
Huh?
God. Total ego is God. And ego is not rotating around us. Don't have these funny ideas. Ego is not rotating around us. Ego is us. Don't look at it objectively. You are that ego. Do you feel that ego is separate to you?
No.
No, so why that type of language then?
So I'm in the conditioning.
So ego is functioning through the conditionings, isn't it? Attached to the conditionings, thinking that they are me. And therefore the feeling that I am this body. Therefore the feeling that I am this mind and this intellect with these convictions and emotions. Why don't I feel what she is feeling? I have to expand in order to feel what she is feeling. I have to change something in here. And when I keep changing, keep expanding, when that ego recognizes that, hey, everything is me alone, then it is called the divine ego. You can call it the total ego, which is called God. But how can you think of everything? How can you think of everything? Mind does not have the capacity to think of everything. It can only think one thought at a time. It's a revelation. So going from individual intellect to total intellect also is a revelation. It happens. You cannot make it happen, it happens. So here the idea that is given is, that is the answer that is given by the Lord of Death to Nachiketa is that this is the final declaration, that this that you feel yourself to be, that this soul that you are talking about, that this idea that you have about yourself, this itself is that reality. This consciousness that you perceive within yourself as the intelligent principle for whom the senses are taking all the stimuli and the mind is feeling and the intellect is thinking, for that intelligence that you are considering yourself to be, that this intelligence itself is that reality. So don't create a distance between both of them, that now I have to search for the reality. No, just accept. And how do you accept? Only through knowledge. And then convert that knowledge into experience. When the conviction is 100%, then it will become an experience. So here, kimatra parishishyate. So what else remains here? What is there in this world that remains unknowable by the self? If this ego self is essentially the total, eternal, infinite self, and it is the one who is the seer behind the eyes, the hearer behind the ears, then what will remain unknown to it? Nothing. It knows everything. Nothing remains as unknown where there is pure intelligence or pure knowledge. And in a realized person, there is no object to be known. Why? There is no object to be known? Because everything is he alone. He does not see himself separate to anything. He does not do. Again I am repeating this example. The hands, the legs, the skin, everything. It is in the names are different, but the experience is I, isn't it? experience is I. The moment this finger is cut and thrown away from the body, immediately it becomes other than me. The moment fecal matter comes out in the morning outside your body, it becomes yuck. As long as it is inside, it's me, it's I. The moment you realize everything as I, it is not you realize, it will happen. The moment you recognize that this ego self itself is the total self or the infinite self, this experience is inevitable. It's inevitable that you will become a person who is seeing yourself everywhere. And that is being indicated here. Again, Swapnantam Jagaritantam Swapnantam Jagaritantam Chobhau Yena Nupashyati Mahantam Vibhumatmanam Matvadhiro Na Shochati. Swapnantam Jagaritantam Chobhau Yena Nupashyati Mahantam Vibhumatmanam Matvadhiro Na Shochati. He by whom the end of dream as well as waking is perceived, that all-pervading great self I am. Knowing this, the wise grieves not. See, these are all exercises given to you to contemplate on the seat of meditation. First was, I am not the ego, I am essentially the eternal self. Why I am the eternal self? Because this eternal self, this conscious principle itself is the seer behind the eyes, the hearer behind the ears, and the whole world it knows. So why do I think that only I know this much, what is there in front of me only I know? Because I have considered myself to be a conditioned consciousness. Therefore the knowledge is limited. Yours is limited, hers is limited, each one has his own limited consciousness expressing as much as it knows. But essentially, these are all imagined consciousness, individual consciousnesses in that one consciousness. Imagined. Waves are imagined on water. Consciousnesses are imagined in one consciousness. The pot space is imagined in the space. So now, where is your attention? Is your attention on the consciousness or is your attention on the conditioning? If your attention is on the conditioning, you become conditioned, you become the ego. If your attention is on the consciousness and mind and senses are withdrawn from the conditionings and sense world, and the only theme in your mind is the pure reality, then that's what will reveal. So here, by whom, another exercise is given, which we can do in our meditations. Here, Swamiji says a question, of what use is this wonderful knowledge of Atman, of reality, which the Vedanta preaches? Can it set us on our progress? Can it cure the poverty in the world or bring about universal peace and joy? It is not here to, it is here to remove your poverty. It is here to remove your misery. Because who is asking this question? You are asking. Has the world asked this question? No. World is nothing but people put together, isn't it? And we are the most intelligent being on this planet. That choice of realizing our freedom is only given to the human being, not to the animal kingdom. This question, animal never asks. Only human being asks. Doubts only human beings have. Happiness also only human beings can experience, and the different gradations of it. So here, the, the, the teacher is explaining that the dream world also, just like the waking world is illumined by the consciousness, the hearer, the etc. we saw, same way the dream world is also illumined by some light. Light is required. Without light you cannot see an object, isn't it? So who is showing the light? Whose light is there in the dream, because of which you are able to cognize the various people, the various mountains, all that you are experiencing in the dream. In whose light are you seeing it? That you are. That light you are. So in the waking world we already saw the light is the ego, and that ego is essentially the eternal self. Now in the dream also the same thing. In the deep sleep also the same thing, which we have done in our Upadesh Sastri many times. Many times the topic has come. That who is that person who, when you wake up from the deep sleep in the morning, who is that? Who was there to know that you had a deep sleep? There was no thought, that's why you call it deep sleep. There was no dream, that's why you call it deep sleep. You were not awake, that's why you call it deep sleep. So if there was no thought, then who came to know that you were asleep? There was no thought. That is the one that you are. That is the one that you are. That is the one who is illuminating all the objects and senses in the dream world also. Because in the dream world you are there and you are watching, experiencing everything that is going on. You are the one in the dream world also who is that same conscious principle, that same light, just like in the waking plane also. And this way, this light is, this illuminator is the supreme illuminator, and that you essentially are. Don't call yourself a waker, a dreamer, a deep sleeper. Instead, this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper are only aberrations in the egocentric self. That ego, on account of its conditionings, is calling itself waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. But essentially, just like we just now saw, the waker, the waking consciousness is essentially the eternal self. Similarly, the dream consciousness is the eternal self. The deep sleep consciousness is also the eternal self. Rediscover yourself. A girl wants to rediscover herself by becoming a mother, isn't it? Or different. Gandhi rediscovered himself as the father of nation. As a father of nation. What are you discovering yourself as? I'm the greatest doubter in this world. No. What are you discovering yourself as? Has any change taken place? Has any growth taken place? Has any of the convictions that you had about peace, tranquility, reality, God, has anything come? Have you become closer to that? Or it's just lip service that we are giving to it? See? So here, these are the ways, the last 2-3 verses, these are the ways that we must contemplate in order for our individuality to merge into totality and eventually into the witnessing consciousness. So here, this leads us to the Mahantam Vibhum. So, Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam Matva Dhiro Na Shochati. This is the second line of that fourth verse. So, Mahantam, great, omnipresent. And the moment this person, this seeker, realizes the God consciousness or the infinite self within himself and establishes his identity as that, at that very moment he becomes great and he becomes omnipresent. That very moment.
What verse are we on?
4.
The second sentence.
You are reading ahead. That's why all the doubts. You are going ahead. I can see that. So at once realizes his own nature as great and omnipresent. Omnipresent means that there is no place where he is not. There is no place where I am not in this body. When this is converted into there is no place I am not in this creation. You can't even imagine at this moment. But that must be the experience. If that experience has not taken place, understand, you are still not reached the goal. Then, na shochati, here, matva dhiro na shochati. Na shochati means that such a person no longer grieves about anything anymore. How can he grieve about anything anymore? When everywhere he is and he has recognized I am the greatest and that I am all knowing and that I am all bliss, then what will he, if there is nothing other than me, how will grief come? Grief only comes when there is separation, when there is division, when there is differences, when there is everything is one unified whole. And that I have discovered myself to be. Then where is the question of grief? Grief has in toto left. The realized master is not speaking this. The Lord of Death is saying that this will be the way that once you realize there will be no grief for you. And because once you have realized that you are one, you are the pervading the whole, then will you desire anything when you are everything? Do you desire to have another hand? No, I would desire my hand. No, it is already my hand. I can't desire what I am already. If I only this, if I have a glass, even glass I don't desire because I already have. So if everything in this creation I am, then what will I desire? Nothing.
What about rejection? If you sort of crush your toe under a rock or something like that hurts like hell, what do you do then?
Then the body will respond. It will go through pain. The mouth will make a scream. But there will be no one disturbed inside. There will be no one disturbed inside. There will no one go. The pain will be felt, but there will be no owner of pain. There will be no one miserable inside because of the pain.
So there would be nobody to run away.
Pardon me?
There wouldn't be anybody to run away from it, so it wouldn't be doubled up. It would just the original
Yes,
experience.
there is no one to run away because that fellow knows that do you, when your tongue is bitten by your teeth sometimes, do you punish? Do you feel the pain? Do you feel the pain? Yes. Then what do you do to it? Do you forgive? No. Do you pluck it out? No. Then what do you do at that moment? Immediately the same teeth go and massage the tongue where it was cut. Isn't it? But there is no forgiveness and there is no punishment. Why? The tongue also I am, the teeth also I am. Realize, Master, one who has known moves like this in the world. There is nothing other than him. Everything I am. You also I am, she also I am, this also I am, that also I am. Nothing to run away from and nothing to run towards. He is just just being. Just being. So in this manner, such a person who has come to know himself to be the Mahantam Vibhum, for such a person there is no misery, there is no grief, and for such a person there are no desires, and there is nothing that he wants and nothing that can fulfill him, because he is complete forever, once and for all. And how can such a person who is abiding in himself can desire for anything more from the sensory world of objects? It is just not possible. The world of objects, the sensory world is the cause of sorrow. Because the eyes are looking at it, they want it. The desire comes. And desire can never be fulfilled. We have gone through this process many times. If the desire is fulfilled, then the greed comes. That I want more. And greed can never be fulfilled. And if desire is not fulfilled, anger comes and you destroy yourself in that anger. No desire has ever been fulfilled completely till today. With respect to the world. It's just not possible. Mind will come up with another desire. To little bit more, little bit more, little bit more. So, once a person rediscovers his egocentric self to be the God-centric self or the witnessing consciousness, whichever way you put it, such a person becomes a saint or a sage called by other people. Such person is a walking God person on this earth. Respect, seek his company, seek his blessings. And more than that, discover yourself to be that. So with this, we get into the 5th verse. Ya imam madvadam veda atmanam jivamantikam Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya natato vijugupsate etadvaitata. He who knows this Atman, the enjoyer of honey, the sustainer of life, and the Lord of the past and the future, and as very near, he fears no more thereafter. This is verily that. Once again, the teacher is not happy. That only one sentence. When you are inspired, again and again you declare the same thing in different ways. So here he is saying it again. He who knows the Atman, he who knows the inner self, the enjoyer of honey. Honey means all that joy that these sense objects are giving, that the world is giving, that the ideas are giving, that the emotions are giving. He is the enjoyer. Why? Because he is the one who is behind everything. The senses cannot function without him, the mind cannot function without him, the intellect cannot ideate without him. So if the eyes like seeing something, that liking is not for the eye, it is for the intelligent principle behind. And if this infinite self is the one behind all the faculties, then all the enjoyments, everything are for him. Will he be having this feeling, oh, now I have reached this stage of ultimate enjoyment, nothing like it? No, he will not. Self does not need to do anything. He is neither the enjoyer nor the doer. He is just is. Can sun say that, I have poor fellows, they were sleeping, I went and woke them up? Does he say that? No. Is the sun feeling happy because we are having satsang here? And feeling sad because there is people getting killed in Iraq and Afghanistan? Does the blood of those people touch the sun, or the wise words of that are being discussed here, does that touch the sun? No, it is equanimous. It is just what it is. Does not concern. He is just being. Similarly, this eternal self that we essentially are, in its presence, all things just happen. And here just the idea is being taken that man wants to only enjoy the world, so therefore it is being told that Madhvadam, the enjoyer of honey, and here the honey stands for the good fruits of actions. And he enjoys all of them. Everything that is going on around, he enjoys without becoming the enjoyer. And he is the enjoyer of all the good luck that accrues to one as a result of noble acts of kindness, mercy and love performed in earlier states of existence. So, as long as you have see, I have told you this many times. If you have done some merits in your life, then there will be some action result about that, isn't it? What is the merit that you are accruing right now? You have spent 1 week or will be spending 1 week listening to the truth, about the truth. Lalita, she is cooking also and feeding those who are listening to the truth. Extra dollop of cream. Huh? Some result will be there. That result could be a peace of mind, that could be an inner sense of calm, whatever it is there. Some result will be there because of the merits that we have done in our life. We have given donation, we have helped, we have, people separating, we have brought them together, and so on and so forth. So such a person, when he is living in his essential, he's recognized his essential nature, for him everything is just perfect. He does not, even in an adversity that seems to be coming, he does not see the adversity, he sees only it as a good luck. Ravana Maharishi was told, why you are having this cancer, and you are such a good person and you are such a pious person, you are a realized person, why a cancer? We have to take let's go to the doctor and hospital and take it out. He says, who says I have got cancer? He says, X-ray? He says, I am cancer. Difference in looking at it. So, for others, cancer is a source of misery. For him, cancer is a reminder. When he thinks of cancer, the experience of I comes. Experience of I comes. So, has that become a source of misery? No. Everyone is happy only when they do something for themselves, isn't it? We saw yesterday's example, the father did not go to save the child who was burning. Why? It will be, what about me then? I will also get burned. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad comes, a mother loves a child not for the sake of the child, but loves the child for her own sake. She wants to be happy. She becomes happy when she takes care of the child, so she loves the child. Nobody loves anyone in this world for their sake, for someone else's sake. You love everyone for your sake. And who are you? That I. See, it's a completely new way of looking at everything. So here to Madhvadam, the enjoyer of honey, and the next was Atmanam Jivam Antikat, meaning the sustainer of life and the Lord of the past and the future. For whom is the past and future? for the ego entity, isn't it? For whom is the life? Is life for the reality or is life for the ego? Life is for the individual, isn't it? So, who is sustaining the individual? Who is sustaining the ego? If we may use that word. Because sustaining means, then we will say, oh, it is other than the ego. No, it is not. It's the self. And it is the self which is sustaining the past and the future. It is the Lord. And as it is very near, from within it controls everything. Not from without, from within. Because that's where you can catch it. You cannot catch it outside. So here it is told, because it is closer than the closest to you, very near to you, as you, and therefore there is no fear. There is nothing else other than it, and therefore all fear leaves such a person, and henceforward fears no more. The fear only comes because of separation, fear comes because of differences, because of duality. You like something, you dislike something, and that likes and dislikes eventually gives you joy and sorrow, and you become a miserable or a happy entity. But when you have discovered yourself to be the core, which is spreading its rays everywhere, pervading everything, then what will you become joyful or sorrowful about? Nothing. Everything is me alone, I alone. And he who realizes this fears no more. He, before it was told grieves no more, now he is told fears no more. Becomes fearless. This reality that we are talking about is that Brahman, and that you are, Nachiketa. What you ask, this is that reality, which is fearless, which is the Lord of the past and the future, which is the sustainer of life, which is the life meaning sustainer of the ego. In essence, ego itself is that reality. So recognize that. And here again, the teacher told him, etadvaitata, this is verily that you had asked for. This is that Brahman, this is that reality which you had questioned about before. Now we go into the 6th verse and we will see that in the next class. Yap purvam tapaso jatam adbhyah purvam ajayata guham pravishya tishthandam yo bhute bhirvyapashyata etadvaitata. One more. He wants his student to get it. Because it's something that words cannot take you there. So different angles he is presenting it, so that that student who's already controlled his senses, who has already made his mind single pointed, his intellect is only seeking that one reality. He is not distracted by the wealth and glamour of the world, but he cannot present it to him. He has to intuit while he is listening.
Well, I haven't controlled my senses, and I'm not single-pointed and all the rest of it, so I'm in trouble, aren't I?
You are not in trouble. Begin now.
Eh?
Begin now. Begin now. It doesn't take too long.
No?
No. How long does it take for a wave to recognize it is water? See? Don't get into that. Consciousness is here, right here and now. It just takes a moment, but you have to develop that momentum. So, hearing, coming to classes again and again, what are you doing it for? You know it now, that the consciousness is within. You are waiting for that moment. Maybe listening to all this again and again is purifying the mind. Maybe listening to this again and again is making your mind single pointed. It's inspiring. And when it will happen, click, and in that you're sitting with the tea and there you go. And everything will be over. But in that moment, you must have, in order for it to happen, the senses and the mind must be withdrawn. And how will they get withdrawn? If the intellect is intensely, lovingly thinking about its source, automatically everything gets withdrawn, isn't it? Just like you are withdrawn from the world right now. Well, we have created a smaller world, but options are less here. So in intellect, when it is thinking about the self, the option is only one, the self, that's it. So don't, that the senses are not controlled, mind is not single pointed. Begin. You are not dead yet. You heard that?
Yes, it is.
Not just to you, everyone. We are not dead yet. It came as you are not, we are not dead yet. So begin. This is a reminder. There's still hope.
That's right, while there's life, there's hope.
As long as there is life, there is hope. And if we take the chance now, we'll realize that there was never and realize ourselves, then the past and future, death and birth, everything is over for us. That's the kingdom of God.
But now there seems to be two ways. It's either going to happen like that, from our single-pointedness or whatever, or thinking about the Lord, or else it can happen inwards through travelling up the spine or something and hitting the head and suddenly realising that way.
We are not talking about Kundalini path here. We are not talking about Kundalini path here. But every path takes you to the same point. And at that point, you have to think in this manner in order to abide. Only knowledge can make you abide in a particular conviction, isn't it? And then it becomes your permanent experience. Otherwise, the food comes, you experience, and then again you become hungry. So Kundalini comes, rises, again you want it to rise. Arey, kahan chali gayi? Where it has gone now? It will come and go. It's like a pumping action in your spine. Then if it doesn't come, then you say, arey, realization is gone. If it comes, oh, I'm getting realized. Or both the ideas are imaginations. Only knowledge can make you abide in your essential nature. Yes, that Kundalini could be a helpful tool, and as it rises, your mind gets purified, your senses get controlled, everything. But when it reaches its destination, at that time, then what? At that time, if you have studied these thoughts will come to your mind. And then abidance will take place. Otherwise, after Kundalini, after meditation, what happens? If you have Nirvikalpa Samadhi, after Samadhi means where you are conscious that mind is not having any thoughts, when you come out of the Samadhi, the world is still real. You have not got realized. So abidance comes only with knowledge. It's not to, and it's got nothing to do that knowledge is the greatest or action is the, no, it's a sequence. Action done without any efforts, without any expectations purifies, then the mind is made single pointed, senses are withdrawn, mind is yoked to the intellect, and intellect becomes convinced about the goal that it wants to pursue, and eventually you reach that, if the persistence of effort is there. Now, what I have just told you you can apply either in the world or for the reality. You will get the results. And if you are only thinking about the reality in your... So when you think on your seat of chair with a cup of tea, you're closing your eyes, automatically your senses have withdrawn, isn't it? You don't think, I'm thinking. You close your eyes, your hand is there and you're in a meditative poise. So what is this from 6th verse onwards? We'll see it in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Our mistake is we think only in a singular way. We think in a linear manner. Huh? We think only this. First this step, then this step, then this step, then this step. Life is not like that. Everything is happening together in life. When the shoot is coming out, at the same time root is also coming out. At the same time the seed is also opening up. At the same time the soil is also giving way for the the shoot to come up. At the same time the root which has come out is sucking the water also. Everything is happening in one go. But we have this idea that everything must happen tuck, 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 one after the other. And to get out of this, we have to get out of this. So when I say, because we say think in linear manner, so the question, I have not controlled my senses, so we are thinking, now what to do? Is there hope? But it can happen in one moment also. All this was a preparation only for, the matchbox and the thing is there, the matchbox and the matchstick. And you're not, nothing coming up, nothing coming up, nothing. Why? Moisture is there. And you are going on and on and on. And you're trying to dry it out and everything. You put it in the sun and you put it, maybe there is a fire going on and you put it on that also to dry it up. Whatever you do, all this was preparation. And at that time, was it in your mind that, the matchstick is not burning, I think I wasted my life? No, all that was preparation, and then last minute, attack, and the fire comes. The matchstick says, I have realized. Right? All that was preparation. So all this is preparation. You are one of the, and I am also one of the lucky ones that I am getting the chance to contemplate on it, and you are getting a chance to listen about it. So don't take it very lightly. Nothing is a coincidence in this creation. Everything is perfect. So if you keep thinking, is there any hope for, not just to you, anyone, is it possible? If you have that doubt, then it will not be possible. Instead, why don't you think that in spite of the way I have lived, I know how I lived my life, all the mistakes that I did, all the wrongs that I did, and yet the Lord, the Divine, chose me, chose this equipment and put him in a place where he could study, where he could do the yoga, where he could do the meditation. Now he has put this equipment in a place where he can teach. What more can I ask? He's already so graceful. He's already blessed so much. So think about the blessings that you have had, not the miseries that you have had. Miseries will come anyway.
But Mama has a saying for that. He says, be a hero, not a zero.
Yes. Be a hero. So look at the positive. And because thinking about positive will give you inspiration, will give you inner strength that I know what I was and I know what I am today. What a great difference. I have brought about the change with the help of the Lord. So there is Lord. I know I didn't do it, the Lord did it. So Lord is there. He is taking care of me. The infinite is taking care from within, every one of us. You just be available. And the help comes. And there is no wonder that help has brought you to this knowledge. Now, continue contemplating, continue asking Him, continue praying to Him, continue to seek blessings from Him. Further journey will be also traversed. Why not? There is no reason why you will not know it in this lifetime.
Like the Sufis say, just take one step outside yourself. The whole path is no further than this step. That's very comforting. From one moment to the next,
Yeah.
it could happen any time, isn't it?
See, it was very easy for us not to have this retreat. Very easy. We could have been watching football, the tennis and the one-day matches that is going on. Spend the whole day in front of the TV, and yet we all chose to give all that up and come here and listen to a mad fellow speaking continuously about the same thing again, and I am also that mad fellow who's enjoying speaking that.
We feel it's an actually privilege to be here.
No, but what I'm saying is, we made that choice, and that choice was a blessing of the divine. That we had the courage to make that choice. Many people had that, many people decided to come, but they didn't come. They didn't give themselves that present. So blessing is always there. Conclusion, never contemplate on what you don't have, contemplate on what you have been given already. Then the inspiration comes. Always look back into your life. I do this way. Anytime I feel for any reason bit down, I just go a flash fast forward from the birth till now. Everything wrong, the type of guy I was, and the desires that I had, and the mistakes that I made, and I see myself where I am today. I say, thank you, God. That's it. At that very moment, it's a flash.
Yes, you don't.
I don't have to spend 10 minutes thinking. No, just a flash. In that one flash, everything. Oh, thank you. I know you are there. There's no reason I should feel sad about anything or down about anything.
Come to think of it, it's like giving birth. Not that you know about it, but in a sense it is, because all the pain and everything else that you experience.
I have given birth. I have given birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I mean, pain seems to disappear after a while. All you're left with all the goodies, you know?
Correct. Yes. So all these analogies are good, but important thing is remembering them at the right time. Yeah. Sure. We did Purnamada, no?
Did Purma?
Did we conclude?
Yes.
Yes.
We did. Sure. Let's have dinner.
It's running, I think.
It's ready. So you will get this part also
Yeah, good. Very
recorded.
I didn't want to say anything to